Okay, everybody, we are back with a Mega Man 5 race. We got Mannix on comms, we got MrCab55, we have NooblarGaming, and we have StahlbolzenSC2. So I'll pass it on over to you and take it away.
Thank you so much, guys. Welcome to an awesome game with an awesome race. Actually, it's my first time that I ever see a race of this game, so I'm happy to commentate for Mr. Cab today, and also for Noobler, which is the current record holder, and we got Stahlbolzen, which you can't get enough of, so he came back. And in spirits, we have Tremaine, which was supposed to be a fourth, but Tremaine, if you're watching, we're happy.
Shout out to hospitals.
And guys, yeah, this it's a bit of a longer game, so lots of stuff can happen. I wish you all good luck, and are y'all ready to go?
Let's do it.
Yep.
All right, so if you haven't done your soft reset yet to save 2 seconds, do it now.
I don't even know how to do that.
Watching this game also has a lot of bright lights, so make sure to cover your eyes if you are sensitive to light. Not the entire run, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'll cut you guys down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Good luck, everybody.
All right. So one thing you may have noticed already is this game has a space kind of environment from the home screen. We're starting in the first stage, which is Neptune, and the first thing you will notice is we're gonna charge our buster. Actually, somebody went into Mercury. That surprises me. I don't know what to say anymore. Somebody went Mercury first. So we got some buster strats going on. I'm gonna talk about this stage on the Neptune first. We got the Mega Arm, so that's your buster equivalent in this game. He sort of shoots forward about 3/4 of the screen and comes back, and in many situations you actually get double shots from that. It's a weapon that takes time to get used to, but actually it's one of my favorite ones out of the standard buster weapons once you get a hold of it. So one thing you may have noticed is colors on some of the screens. This is one of the Super Game Boy Enhanced titles. So it did have colors, but also nice graphics, but with all of that comes a lot of lag. So there's going to be a lot of lag management strats. And the first, we go underwater. Let's lag underwater. Here's a little pipe jump. Okay. So one player decided to wait, which is fair because you don't have a lot of health. Meanwhile, Mr. Cab is cruising through Mercury. There's something to be said about Mercury first now. There's been lots of new strats developed, and some players do it buster only, so it's perfectly fine to do this stage first. So we'll talk about the boss that we see at the top first. This boss is basically even health will do a short pattern, odds health will do this long pattern, so we're trying to basically hit it as few times as possible, or to get as few long transitions as possible. And this is it. So those were the two, and then you can sort of do full shots and half shots to keep getting the little short one. And we have the Neptune boss, which is pretty interesting because you see some half charges. So half charges do 2 damage and a full one does 3. So the game actually outputs more damage doing several half charges. Just makes for a cool fight there. And if you stand too far from Neptune, you basically get him to shake the screen. And nobody wants to see that because shaking a screen on Game Boy is bad for lag. So it's kind of cool that they went to separate stages, but they're sort of all completing their stage anyway, so we're going to have another confusion of stages. And I think every player has slightly different strats, so the first couple stages are going to be... Just bear with me, trying to demix my brain. Okay. So Cab is now going to Neptune, and the other players are going to follow their usual logic and go Mercury second. So at the start of Neptune, we missed that, but this ship is going up and down. That's actually crucial to how we complete the beginning of this stage, because these copters can't be hit with the buster arm unless you're at peak jump. Right there, you see the ship was a bit too low, so you missed the shot. So there is some strategy to that. And at the top right, we have Noobler showing some strats that he developed and polished recently. We call this one the new boost that you're about to see. So he's going to hit that enemy. He's going to intentionally want to get hit by the blade and fall into the screen transition. What that will allow him is to skip that first enemy and that block. And it saves a whole pattern of this wall going up and down. So that's a pretty cool strat. We have pretty much an even race between Stahl and Noobler right now. Like probably half a jump difference. And these these charge shots here are easy to hit. You just release when you screen transition, except the last one. So getting that last one is still nice. Alright. This is a pretty scripted boss, like we said, so the lead is gonna stay the same. You know, Cab is going through Neptune. So we're gonna have what I believe is Marsh stage 3rd for everybody. But I could be wrong. Alright. Everything going to plan in the Mercury fights. We'll see how Noobler does. Oh, he shot his last fist in the wrong way, but other than that, pretty clean fights.
Have a sec for a dono?
Yep.
So we
Always.
got a €5 donation from Diane Keto saying, good luck to the amazing runners for the MM5 race. Cheers to having a good time.
Thank you so much. Keep donating, by the way. It's a great cause. It's a great family. Great family here at Game Over Cancer. One of my favorite events every year. Multiple times a year, I should say now. So we got a pretty even race, couple seconds between each player, but nothing that can't be made up. We're going into the Mars stage, and everybody hates Mars stage because it lags. But our players are good, so they're gonna figure our way through that. So we're gonna see varying strategies here. One of the strategies is to take a lot of damage and then switch to the Mercury shot that we got earlier that allows us to hit enemies and gain health back from pellets that it brings back to you. While on Noobler's screen, we're going to see the Buster only throughout. So he's going to be a bit more careful in some screens, but not have to worry about switching weapons. So it's two different strategies. They're almost the same in time. I'd argue that the Buster one is a bit harder, as you can see. If you don't do it perfectly, unfortunately, that's death. And he has to start over. So just like that, we have a lead change. Stahl going in front. And we're going to see on Cav's screen what the one with Mercury looks like. Here we go. So it is a laggy weapon, but it is a strong weapon in the sense that you can just barrel through everything, and there's a lot of enemies in the screen that just likes to be in your way for no reason, so you can't get them out of the way unless you kill them or damage through them. So it kind of goes hand in hand. Coming up on stall screen is a Tremaine boost, so we're going to intentionally get hit by the rocket, or just jump over it because we're good. You can get hit by the rocket from the left side, jumping over it to get through the spiky guy. We'll see if Cap gets it. It looks a bit too late. Stayed up on the first screen too long yet. It's alright. We're already in the tail end of the screen, just a few more of these rockets and monkeys and I call them the gambling machine, whatever one that spins. And we're coming up to the Mars fight. The Mars fight, we will use the salt bubble, and it's kind of an archy weapon, but it also has like pellets that come out of it that can double hit them. So we're just going to stand in the middle though and just shoot. A clean stage by StahlbolzenSC2. MrCab just about a fight behind. Nothing's over with Noobler. He is, on paper, the fastest player of this game, so there's no guarantee that this is going to stay how it is. And I kind of like these, this screen here with the weapon gets. Pretty nice. Now we get the photon missile. I'm trying to remember the names. Photon missile, yeah. Which is the Mars weapon. It sort of shoots a strong missile that can barrel through many enemies and bodies, but it takes a while to launch. So often it's more effective to shoot it from close as soon as it comes out of Mega Man. So we're going to see a bit of that in this stage. And specifically for the Venus stage, if you aren't enjoying it already, this little the whistling. I don't know if there's any good whistlers in chat, but this song is like, I don't know how to whistle, and I try to whistle to the song. So we're seeing the power of the missile here. Because it's delayed, we can sort of leave one on the screen and keep going. These waterfalls, if you jump, will pull your momentum downward, so there's a good chance you fall in a pit if you don't jump correctly. And these crabs, if you're not fast enough, they drop these little bubbles that time waste you. Waste your time. So we're seeing a couple different strats here, but the idea is to use as many missiles as possible, but have just enough for the Venus fight. Maybe a spare one or two. Alright. I see that Noobler has already started making up some time. Cool to see. And we have coming up on stall screen is what MrCab calls the worst room in the game in a few screens. Sorry, it's a few screens later. But there's these bouncy balls and some laggy bats. It's just unfun. See it right here. It looks cool, but really it's just mostly holding right and shooting your buster properly. Alright, so just coming to this final part of waterfalls. So there is some waiting in this stage, but overall the stage isn't too hard. There's the worst room of the game for Cap. Let's see, Noobler goes for the fast strat. He is going for it. Before the waterfall, he got it. So that's that was long considered a task-only room, and then Tremaine figured out a way to, and then Noobler adopted it as well. So beating that waterfall is like, you have to be pretty perfect. That's gonna make up some time. He's surprisingly after his death, like making it up. I apologize. I missed the Venus fight. We will commentate it over Cab. So Venus can high jump or low jump, and he can also create a lot of lag with those bubbles that he releases. So we don't like the large bubbles. That was a good fight. So we're hoping for low jumps. Let's see for Noobler. There's one high jump. It's alright, perfect. So all of our players are headed into the Dark Moon fight, which if you're familiar with Mega Man and the Wily 1 bosses, mostly, we're going to see our famous boss that loves to split from side to side on the screens. In this one, he's called Dark Moon, and he is weak to the photon missile, which we just saw plenty of. And our players are going to position themselves in a very specific spot and do some jumping up and down to land missiles directly into his eye without waiting for the delay of the projectile. And at the same time, they will try to do some small wiggles in the air, just enough to dodge the bullets that are coming out of his eye to try to one-cycle him. Very, very difficult one-cycle. And I believe what we're going to see from Noobler is a different strat where he intentionally takes damage to avoid a shot. So he doesn't have to do the wiggle, but his shooting has to be immaculate for it to work. Let's see how Stahl does. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so Stahl's going to be a 2-cycle. Let's see. Let's see how Cab does. He's very proud of this strat. Only 3 people have gotten this strat in a race. Okay, he's going for the safety. Honestly, not a bad choice in a race, so he's going for maximum guaranteed output without dealing with the boss. I know. Alright, let's see how Noobler does. A little different strategy. I think he had. Oh, okay. So no players got it. All good. It saves 20 seconds to 30 seconds if you get it. So it just makes the even playing field in terms of RNG. But yeah, that's pretty difficult fight to get in one shot. Just like that, we're done our first 4 robos plus the mid boss, if let's call him that way. And we're taking Rush Jet and going to space. It's kind of a mix between Rush Jet and Rush Marine. It's pretty cool. The 2 best characters in Mega Man in one. There's 2 varying strategies here. We can purchase a W tank which refills 1 weapon, which would be served as Neptune later on. Or there's some players that just go straight through. And we're going to the Pluto stage, which is one of my favorite songs of the game. So this stage is deceptively difficult in the sense that everything does a ton of damage. And if you miss your shots, then it's kind of awkward to kill stuff. And here's the best part of it. This was recently discovered that you can use Tango in this as a faster strategy. So you're actually going to see the cat. And don't worry, that wasn't the only time you have to see Tango again. You're going to see Tango 3 times, possibly. And what the Tango strats allow too is, because our weapons don't refill it, it actually saves a lot of Neptune, or Salt Bubble ammo, sorry. I keep saying the name of the boss, but all the weapons have names that are not related to the boss directly. So it gets confusing. So you saw on Cab's screen the traditional strat, which is the bubble. We don't want it to go back into the wall, otherwise we have to wait quite a bit for it to come back out for damage. So this screen that Stahl is on, pretty difficult screen to optimize. There is a way to jump off that girder over, but very hard. And we get another tango, yay! Alright, so we get our first instance of heavy RNG here, which is our friend Proto. He can give us a life, he can give us HP refill, he can give us weapon refills, he can give us all kinds of stuff. At this point, personally, I usually love the full refill because there are some weapons that are really important that are low. But if you go with Buster strategies, you don't really have to rely on his RNG to give you something good. So you probably just want the health or something that doesn't take time. And we just saw the Pluto fight. I keep missing the Pluto fight. The first fight, we're going to see it again soon. To one cycle, probably one of the hardest one cycles in the game. There's like 3 bosses in the game that are hard. So we're going to shoot these mercury shots, but you can't have more than 3 mercury pellets on screen. So you actually have to pick up intentionally some of these healths to be able to shoot again, otherwise you can't. And we're going to use the Venus bubble to climb up the wall for any remaining health. So we'll see on the other screen. Looks good. That looks one cyclable. Okay. Almost. So you can, if you do it perfectly, you can shoot that last shot before Pluto starts flying up and has invulnerability. But yeah, that was a pretty solid shot. This stage is pretty scary on paper. The Jupiter screen. The Jupiter stage, pardon me. Everything is low gravity. So you're floaty. A lot of enemies take a long time to kill or are just very awkward places. Fortunately, we have our new weapon called the Break Dash. And it's just a charge with your shoulders, so there it seems like not much, but the thing about that weapon is when you do use it, you have iframes. So we're pretty much just avoiding everything in the game once we have that weapon in many spots. And it's charge dependent, so the longer you hold it, the further your charge goes, but it also consumes more weapon energy. So since it's a very important weapon, we're trying to keep our dashes as short as possible. But the cool thing about it too is if you do a slide during the invulnerability, it carries into your slide. So you can go further with your invulnerability before you get out of it. So far we got a pretty good race. Stahl is holding his lead coming into the Jupiter fight. Clean stage. So Jupiter's weak to the Venus bubble, and it makes sense because he likes to fly to the top. So he'll chase you and shoot down his big beam. So you can't hurt him while he's doing that. There we go. That was a great fight. It doesn't look that hard, but the floor is slippery, so it's really hard to get him exactly where you want. And he sort of chases you in a floaty matter around too, so like the positioning is hard to get every time. See Cat taking it safe there. Definitely a good idea if you think you're gonna miss your jump, because if you die in this stage and you go back, you don't have enough charge energy to barrel through all the enemies again, so it becomes very difficult to get through slowly. Alright, let's see how Noobler does. And Cab not far behind. Alright, perfect. And if you look down on Stahl's screen, we're not entering the Saturn stage, which is also a great theme that I love. This stage is one of the shortest. There's two ways to do this stage. You can use Buster only, or you can use this weapon, the Jupiter Beam. I forget the name. Jupiter Laser, I believe, which shoots not far in front of you, but you can just sort of hold it out and it does a ton of damage. So it's almost like a running shield in some ways. So we will see a ton of it soon. This is Eddie. Eddie can drop many different things, and we hope he gives us refills on these weapons that we're trying to use a lot. So the Jupiter, the Break Dash. So all our players are in the same stage after roughly 25 minutes, which it's great to see in a three-way race. A lot can happen in a Mega Man game. We saw a little bit on Stahl's screen why we kill that floating enemy, because he does so much lag. This is Saturn, so he can either slide below you, or he can jump over. We do want the slide. That was the perfect kill from Stahl. Good job. The cool thing about that boss, which we won't see from anybody, but he can stand in one side and hold his shield out and create like a portal, like a dimensional portal out of it that sucks you in. And if you try to do a charge shot with your Mega Arm, he will actually eat your weapon, and until he puts away his shield, you can see Mega Man walking around without his arm. I think it's one of the coolest things. Let's see how what pattern Noobler gets. It's good. Oh, he got the jump pattern, so the jump pattern is a little bit slower. He can freeze you also, but Noobler killed him before that happened. Let's see what Cap gets. It's a relatively quick fight regardless. It's just a few things. There, you saw he tried to do the shield there, but the Jupiter shot disrupts it. I believe Stahl is going to lose some time because he went into the incorrect stage by accident. And unfortunately, there's, like most Mega Man games, there's no easy, like, get out of a cleared state. So he's gonna have to take a few deaths here and actually just create a lead change with this. As we go in Uranus, which will be the 8th and final Star Droid, because they're not called Robot Masters. I love the theme, like both the thematic visuals of this level and also the theme that goes with it. So there's some sphinxes, there's lots of stuff. I think it's a really cool stage, well made. So we can see the power there of this, the Jupiter laser, actually just destroying everything in our path. There's a couple strats we can see on Cab's screen. If we want to if we're low on Jupiter, we can switch to Mars missile and sort of refill one of them later. So the difference in strategies here is Noobler conserved his weapons earlier so he doesn't have to rely on any refills that are RNG based. while Cab went for the traditional route where he did use his weapons to his advantage, but now he's hoping for a large drop from one of these enemies to give him a large refill to sort of even the plane, and that doesn't always happen.
Have a sec for another dono?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Awesome. So we got a donation from Afroman of $4.20 saying, I was going to make a comment, but then I got high.
I like your hair. That was a nice song reference. Coming up on Noobler's screen and all other players real soon is the Uranus fight. So he's weak to the break dash. So we're sort of abusing the iframes to do little charges back and forth into him. Fun fact about this boss, much like Super Mario Bros. 3, he can sort of be... You can make him fall into his own pit and die, but it takes a long time. It's pretty funny. I do recommend trying to kill him without shooting him. Just for funsies, put it on your retro achievements list. Alright, we got 2 players out. Cab is about to as well. And another particularity about this boss is even if you do charge busters, he still only takes 1 damage. So every weapon does 1 damage except the break dash. We're gonna see Terra again. Terra still needs a haircut. This time we are going to fight Terra, and the weakness to Terra is the Deep Digger, the weapon we just got, which allows us to pick up these blocks on the ground and throw them. And the particularity of this fight is if you cross to the same side as Terra, he will jump backwards into the air, phase out, and appear on the other side. So if you don't have good positioning, he actually is a bit harder to track around. Both our players have done great, better than I can. There's a little bit of magic and precision to picking up those blocks and not falling where you picked it up. And I never quite get it, but these guys are pretty good. Let's see how Cap does. So I always want to start with 1 charge shot. And that ring that he throws out, actually, there we go, we see the phase. That's what it looks like. Alright. And we've got a giant balloon. It must be a balloon fest. Wait, what is that? Are you guys telling me that Wily has another ship? Nobody figured out this giant balloon was there the whole time? No, it's not a balloon, it's like the size of the universe. But nobody saw it till now. So this is probably a pretty unique stage, I would say. We're actually gonna be playing as the Rush Space Marine. So we can actually navigate around, we can use a little mini dash. We can move in all cardinal directions and diagonals. And we have little pellets coming out of our mouth. I think it's kind of cute. Out of Rush's mouth. And also we can do some charge shots. And we're going to dodge some of these meteorites. And then we got the Space Mets. The Space Mets has been a little bit of a myth. They can spawn from everywhere. They take 4 damage, so the equivalent of 1 charge shot and a mini shot. So what we try to do is land a single pellet on one of them if we can, and then sort of do a charge shot while they're crossing each other so that they both die at the same time. But honestly, it's There's a lot of things to be said about this screen. There's even a way that you can shoot at the bottom of the screen and your damage outputs to the top. Which is kind of a weird thing. So Noobler talked about, or Stahl talked about, sorry, about how big of a ship could be. Well, now you can see in comparison how big it is compared to Mega Man. So what you saw there from Noobler is a dash into the beam strat. It allows us to save a cycle if everything is done perfectly. Because the weak point of the boss is his mouth. So what you can do is if you charge into the beam correctly and just out of the damage range, you can release your charge burst shot before you could normally go down safely, and it saves a bit of time. That's a really cool strat. Alright, and just like that, we're in the final stage. It's a bit of a longer stage, and there's going to be some refights and stuff. This is a shortcut. We're going to use the break dash and the deep digger to go through the wall instead of going in the lower path, which is boring and laggy. So there's a lot of weapon management happening here because we're going to fight all the Mega Man killers. So if you were to play Dr. Wily's Revenge, this is Anchor on Noobler screen. And you can see the cool strat about doing single to half charges, which outputs a lot of damage. That was a really good fight. And he sort of absorbs your shots and hits you harder. The harder you hit him, the harder he hits you back with his little blade beam. But nothing to be too concerned about. And now we're facing Quinn, which was from Mega Man 2 on the Game Boy. Claim Mega Man from the future. And the weakness is some Mars missiles right on his head, not on the Pogo. Pogo doesn't take damage. We got Cab doing the safe strat, which is just half shots and not landing the single in the middle. Alright. Our players are all doing pretty well. There is an E-Tank there that you can grab that doesn't take too much time. Our players won't need it, but if you're finding the game difficult and you want a nice refill, that one there is really easy to grab. And you may have seen on the stall screen there where he slid through an enemy, and that goes through what I was talking about earlier. If you dash into a slide and if you keep changing your slides and not stop, you'll hold that as long as you can. So you went right through the enemy even though it was like 5 seconds later. Right. And this is Punk. Punk is weak to the bubble. We're going to try to be like close to him without tinking off his own blade shots, which is easier said than done. For Noobler, we got Imperfect Cell again. Ballad is weak to the Venus bubble, and it is possible to kill him faster with a different weapon, but it makes our weapon usage a little off for the refights. So just like that, Noobler will be headed first into the refights. And by the looks of it, we'll have Stahl coming in in about 20 seconds. And Cav has a little bit to go. considering this is like a 45-minute game or so, that they're this close after 38 minutes is quite nice. So there's different routes you can do here for the refight. Noobler likes to start with Mercury and work his way a different way. We didn't see this the first time. He is weak to the black hole bomb. And we intentionally get hit so that we are in his hitbox when we release the black hole bomb. It's a very strong weapon, but it uses a lot of weapon energy. Alright. For Pluto, we're going to see the same strat as earlier. Except we're going to switch to the laser, the homing laser. Is it laser eraser? I think it's called. Yeah. I need my weapon lore to be updated, which is conveniently a good weapon against Neptune. So he likes to jump around and do shenanigans. Oh, we got the laggy pattern. Thank you. So now you saw what happens if you stand too far from him. So all our players are doing different routes. MrCab went to Uranus first, which usually he's last, and then he's going clock traditional way. Or counterclockwise, I should say. While Noobler is mostly going clockwise. Hey, we got another screech. Oh, we got 2 of those today. If you intentionally shoot some weapons, like spam it while he's doing that shake, like I think the Game Boy just wants to explode. There's so much lag. Fun to create, just for fun. And we got Venus here. Venus exactly the same with the Mars missiles. Mars is a little different if you don't have the Neptune. So the players who have a lot of Neptune will go with the original strat, like you see on Cab's stream. While the other players, like you see on Stahl, will instead use the Jupiter beam, which also blocks conveniently some of his projectiles that he shoots out, so you can sort of just stand in front of him and laugh at his face. Saturn is no different. We still want to use the Jupiter beam. Noobler is the first out of the refights. And we hope here that we get a short. There's going to be a second Proto-Man. This one has been known to ruin PVs and world records. So if you get the full refill Pluto here, it's about 8 to 13 seconds depending on your weapon energy. Oh, he got the full. He's probably really mad right now. I jinxed it. No! So we don't need any of these. So he's like, here you go. Alright. This is the first part of the Wily machine. It's like 2 arms, and we're going to shoot some salt bubbles into its eyes and switch to Buster to save. So the players who haven't bought the W tank have to basically switch between the Neptune bubble and the Buster, while if somebody took the time to buy the weapon tank, they can sort of just stay on the bubble and use a W tank to refill it for the second hand, because there is a second hand. And the second hand sort of tries to grab you and then throws little missiles at you. So they have a slightly different pattern. And what we're going to do is make the hand fall on the left so that we can sort of shoot while jumping backwards. And what that allows us to do is finish on the rightmost part of the screen as well. because Mega Man does walk slowly to the right to switch to the next screen after that fight. Let's see what Cab gets here from Proto. Whatever he got was really short, so I was really happy, and I unfortunately missed but it wasn't a refill, so whatever they got, they're probably content with. This is the phase 2, so here's a cool strat. If you keep switching from the black hole bomb to another weapon to the black hole bomb, you can actually spam it and hit the hitbox of Wily that's inside of the machine. Normally you have to like wait till he gives you a bomb and you stack it against him and it does a little bit of damage when you explode it. But with that strategy, you actually break Wily, and I say break because it also skips phase 3 that you guys won't see unless somebody runs out of black hole bomb. Good job by Stahl. And we're already headed into the final boss for Noobler. And Stahl not far behind. Sunstar. Sunstar takes 1 damage from everything, regardless what you do. So the Break Dash is the weapon of choice since he does have a lot of strong attacks and annoying attacks. So we're going to try to use the dash to dodge. And you're already on time. Every time on last hit is time for Sunstar. He sort of grabs his arm as an animation too when he's busted. So this is the second phase. He's going to shoot these fire beams in front of you so he can do small dashes in front of it. And every time he changes phase, he breaks the floor. Alright, this time he's going to do like a little tango spin. Shoutouts to Tango. Alright. And time for Noobler, who started last but make his way through and won the race. GG. And we're almost there for Stahl. Gonna stand a little bit further back so he can more comfortably do dashes. That was a great second phase. And here we go with the tango phase. We want to shoot him before he goes to the ceiling because he does like this acid rain. Time for Stahl. Great job. 45/46 time is pretty solid in a race. This game is very difficult and very easy for mistakes to lose time. And this should be a formality for Mr. Cab. He's probably beaten this game more than any of us have. So while they're finishing, I just want to thank those who asked me to commentate this run. It is probably my favorite speed run that I've done, and I do recommend it. If you're convinced after seeing this race, I still recommend playing it. They're games casually, but they're also really fun speed runs. And they're not like too out there. There's some glitches, but not too much time for Cab. So yeah, 47 minutes. We'll say about a minute-ish between first and last.
GG gamers.
GG.
GG's, guys. I have no idea how I still won that, dude.
Yeah, you all finished 1 minute between. It was a great race. Stahl was winning most of.
I just say that without that wrong stage select, I would have tied my PB almost.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
you were
Damn.
ahead by a lot, about half a stage when you did that.
1 minute and 9 seconds over PB, and I lost compared to gold 1 minute in Uranus then because of the wrong stage
Damn.
select.
That's unfortunate, man.
Unlucky. And I
Yeah,
did
so
the
you-
Bowser kill on Uranus refights, but whatever.
I got the
Sorry,
Bowser
points for
kill.
that, dude.
It was for
I'm
the
just glad Mr. Cat didn't play with the yellow and white colors. I was a little worried.
I was like looking around. Where is it? It's one of these. Okay. Oh, okay. I got it. Okay, good.
Also, somebody went Mercury first. I was got.
That's
Okay,
because you
greedy
counted
guy.
down like right when the title screen music was about to reset the title screen, so I started just hitting start, and then Mercury is the default stage if you just keep going.
Oh,
So we went straight into Mercury stage. I was like, well, do I reset? No, yeah, I can do this stage buster only. Let's go, because you don't really use Neptune's weapon in there very much, so it wasn't a big deal.
Wrong stage select, then it's this one, right?
I got the Tango kill on Sunstar as well, so that's all that really matters.
we got
Yeah.
Tango. We got to see some
Like
Tangos.
if you said there's a minute between first and last, but if they didn't kill Sunstar with Tango, I think I get credit for another 5 minutes right there. So
That's 1 full minute for
I
the
this
style
final
points
phase,
there.
the Tango phase. I baptized his third phase, the Tango phase. It's like a Tango move. But seriously,
Tango
guys, it
was
was
tired after Pluto.
Yeah.
I tried to do the Tango strat in Pluto, but it didn't work. And then I like, well, now what do I do? And so switched back to Neptune.
I think other than the stage select and the Noobler dying like halfway into Mars, Sunbus really hurt pretty
Yeah.
bad.
That Mars stage was horrible. I have no idea.
Nobody likes Mars' stage. It's a super
Yeah,
laggy
nobody.
hecking Mars' stage.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Anyway,
to Tremaine.
Tremaine won the race. That's who won.
Tremaine won the race.
Tremaine won the race by not being in the race.
Yeah. But seriously,
But we love being here. We do.
we don't see a race of this game ever. Any game, pretty cool for it to happen.
Yeah, this game never gets races, which is not because nobody like is accepting the races. They just never get proposed. So
You know, right?
once I saw this forming up, I was like, all right, I think I can eke out a 47. Let's go.
Anyway, I know there's other runs coming up, so I don't want to take too much time, but just thank you again for you guys. Azuma, what do we have next?
Okay, yes, definitely. We do have more Mega Man coming up, but that was an incredibly, incredibly close race. There was about a minute and a half between first and third, so I can't ask for a closer race. Gotta love it, gotta love it. And as mentioned, we will have Mega Man 7 coming up next, so don't go anywhere, folks.
Nice. See ya.